Well, let's get more on this historic announcement now from lawyer Brooke Goldstein, who joins us from New York. Brooke is the director of the Lawfare project. Thank you for joining us here on Sky World News. So let's address that point first. Why now then, after so many years, so many attempts towards this announcement, has Donald Trump come and said this now?
Well, I think the simple fact remains that the executive, the president of the United States, is bound by U.S. law, by congressional acts which were passed bipartisanly by overwhelming majority, including the Jerusalem Embassy Relocation Act, to move the embassy, to recognize the fact on the ground that Jerusalem is the capital of Israel. And granted, there's always been a 6-month waiver in the bills. The waiver was never intended to be in perpetuity. So I think what Trump is really doing is following U.S. law. And I think it's important to note that there is a general misconception of cause and effect here. Those who say that moving an office is going to create violence just simply don't understand cause and effect. Moving an embassy does not create Islamist terrorism. Radical imams preaching violence as a legitimate response to the Muslim world's hurt feelings, that is the direct cause of violence here, and that's what we should be focusing on.
Nevertheless, it's going to inflame tensions, isn't it? I mean, look at what the Arab world is saying. Saudi Arabia's leader, King Salman, talking about how this decision is likely to inflame the situation. I mean, Jerusalem is a disputed city, isn't it?
Those statements themselves are designed to inflame and to incite terrorism. Terrorism doesn't need an excuse. We have the status quo in Jerusalem, and what do we have? Arabs going around and stabbing innocent men, women, and children. Arabs have been inciting violence against Jews, against the infidels, since before Israel even existed. Moving an office is not the direct cause of Islamist terrorism.
The status quo in Jerusalem, though, is a disputed city, isn't it? With East Jerusalem,
no, it's
the
not,
Palestinians
actually
laying claim to East Jerusalem.
No, it's not. International law is very firm in the fact that Israel has full legal title to the entire area known as Palestine. You have the San Remo Resolution, the Franco-British Boundary Convention, the Mandate for Palestine, the League of Nations documents, and then the United Nations Charter. There's nothing that the General Assembly or the Security Council or, frankly, the media can do to dispute that Israel does have full legal title to Jerusalem. There's a common misconception that Jerusalem was taken by force in 1967. Jerusalem wasn't taken by force in 67. Jerusalem was taken away by force in 1948 and then subject to a belligerent Arab occupation for 19 years. Giving back Jerusalem to the Arabs is illegal. It is tantamount to territorial acquisition by aggression. That is a violation of international law.
Did Israel not capture Arab East Jerusalem in 1967 then and annex it? Israel
recaptured Jerusalem, which it was given legal title to in 1967. In 1948, the Arabs captured what was prior an Ottoman territory, and Jordan divided Jerusalem for the first time in history for 19 years. Jerusalem has always been an undivided city, except for a 19-year period when Jordan illegally occupied Jerusalem by aggressive territorial acquisition, which is a violation of international law.
All right, you are a lawyer. Can you take us through the next steps then, following this announcement? I mean, nothing is going to happen for several years, is it? So what is the process?
I don't think nothing is going to happen for several years. I think it's going to take maybe half a year to a year. I think what Trump has indicated that he is going to do is exercise another 6-month waiver to prepare the realistic preparations that have to take on the ground, the physical moving of the office, so that the State Department itself doesn't lose funding for its embassy that is currently in Tel Aviv. I think it'll take about a year, if not less.
All right. Brooke Goldstein, thank you very much, Director of the Lawfare project there. Thank you for your time here on Sky World News.